So the first thing I want to talk about is the squat variations. So squats, lunges, step-ups, and how to progress them. So if you're very new to fitness, one of the initial ways that you can get into a squatting pattern is to use something as a guide. So in the gym setting, we would call these box squats. We'll call them chair squats if you're at home. So I'm going to squat down. I'm going to use the chair as my guide. I'm going to tap and then come up. A lot of times one of the impediments to people squatting is they're afraid of falling back. So the chair really gives me that peace of mind that I'm not going to fall over because we want to distribute weight evenly across our foot. So one thing to think about with squatting patterns is ball of the foot, fifth metatarsal, and the heel all stay planted on the ground firmly. So you don't want to certainly rock up where your heel comes off the ground. You don't want to waver from side to side. You want to keep that whole foot on the ground. The other thing with a box squat or a chair squat variation is I don't want you to disengage. So as I squat down, I don't want you to sit all the way down and sort of completely relax your muscles. The point of this is to maintain tension, squat, tap, and then come up. All right, so that's the initial entry into squatting patterns. So then the other thing you could do, obviously, is just an air squat. Right, so this is your basic squat. We use these as a warm-up in a gym setting. So you could tie together air squats. Let's talk lunges, step-ups. So lunge variations, we really like the reverse lunge. You could also do a forward lunge. You could also do walking lunges, depending on how much space you have. So we have a squat pattern. We have a lunge pattern. Step up, as long as you're, depending on the rules at your house, you could step up onto the furniture. So step up variation. I'm going to keep this foot planted on the chair and then step up. If I want to get more glute activation on this working leg here, I could bring that other leg through. So let's say you're already really strong, or you already have a pretty good fitness regimen. Well, how are you going to make these body weight things more difficult? And the way that we can make things more difficult without having access to additional load is we can reduce the rest intervals. We can add repetitions. We can slow down the movement. So if I do 20 air squats and then rest for 30 seconds and then 20 more air squats and then rest for 30 seconds, that's going to be more difficult than doing 10 squats and then resting for a minute and then another 10 squats. So you can add load, you can reduce the rest intervals, and the other thing is slowing down. So probably the most hated thing I program for clients is a slow eccentric squat. So if I squat down as slowly and as in control as possible, I may add a pause at the bottom and then stand up. And then you can do something like that with all the lunge variations and step-up variations as well. So if I were to do a reverse lunge, actually, as I'm thinking about this would be easier to do in what's called a split squat stance, where I would be in the squat or the lunge position already, and then I do a slow eccentric split squat. So that is your knee flexion and extension dominant movement pattern. This is going to work primarily quads and glutes depending on the variation you use. Remember, if you want to advance these, increase the number of repetitions, reduce the amount of rest, and slow down, use perfect form. So again, this is an opportunity to perfect form and perfect range of motion, mobility, and controlling all points throughout the pattern. So give those a shot using only what you have at home